And we're live. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Let me put my headset maybe. Yeah, we'll be better for the music. Okay, so hope everybody's good. I forgot to start with yeah, a little warning message first. Okay, all good. So yeah, I am not financial advisor. I will give you my opinion on the market, some charts, maybe what I do or what I plan to do, but you're of course solely responsible of the decision you make. So Jenny is here. Hi, good to see you. Hervey, good evening. Swooping Hawk is here. Good to see you. Great. So yeah, let's not lost any time and dive right away into the Bitcoin chart. So I talked a bit about the yearly open already into the Discord, into the private part, but yeah, quickly here for the public side. Quick review on the yearly chart. Well, we had a nice bull run since 2010. We had a pretty bad year for 2022. Closed significantly below the open. Now, just based on this, on the history, well, Bitcoin never had two consecutive bearish years. It can still go lower, like it did, for example, here before putting a bottom, but there is surely hope that we'll print the bottom for this bear market this year, especially knowing that so we are in 2023 now, and next halving is predicted to be happening somewhere in March 2024, if I remember correctly. In 2024, that for sure, somewhere into the first half. And so should that remain a good catalyst for a bull run? Well, yeah, we can expect a very good year in 2024, maybe. Unless we did completed a 5-wave cycle here on Bitcoin already, a complete macro 5 waves on 10 years, which could lead to more years of consolidation or accumulation, or maybe even yeah, the end of this market. I don't think this market is going to end anytime soon, but there is surely some worrying sign happening, right? So that said, what to expect for the following months? It's quite not the same thing, but we also never have been so much oversold in Bitcoin any time. Is that a 200? No, that's a 100. Yeah, it's a 100 monthly average here. 200. We are still below the 200 weekly, significantly below. Something that never happened. So that's also why. Just a reminder that it's not because it never happened that it cannot happen anytime. We did made a bearish cross here between the 50 and the 200. We are significantly below the 200. which never happened. It was support in the past. Ooh, that music is not good. Let's come back on the classic playlist here. So yeah, the same way we are pretty much oversold here on an oscillator. We do have some kind of bullish div on the weekly. I'm saying some kind because we have an intermediary swing here where we had a bull div. Nice one that failed. I'm not really a fan of having bull div with an in-between swing like this. That said, it's still bull div coming from oversold. Monthly as well. On monthly, we also have stochastic, that is stochastic or stochastic RSI, which is pretty much oversold, like it has never been, or like it has been in the past at the low. And I think we also had quarterly quite oversold here. That might be a sign to watch. I mean, should we see a cross happening, especially on the quarter? Should we have a nice quarterly close on a cross, bullish cross here? Could be a sign of recovery. Now, I'm saying this, I have my favorite, I will say, or one of my favorite plan that is looking more for a corrective bounce and continuation still. But I mean, it's an Elliott Wave plan. I will talk about it later. But yeah, that said, watch out if we start to see this girl up. Well, it could give us some strength. And anyway, what I'm looking at for a corrective move up, that's still a pretty big move up, right? Because next big resistance I'll be looking is 30k up to 42. So yeah, that's how much 100% how about. Yeah, all that to say, we are pretty oversold, full of fear of capitulation. We are having again some bearish news this week with DCG, parent company of Grayscale, having trouble with public fight with Gemini. And I think they're trading company, or not trading, but fund management company, Genesis, closing down. There is some concern about UB, the exchange, mainly Asian exchange, like Yukon, as have been bought by Justin Sun, the guy from Tron TRX. So there's some trouble around there also, it seems. So do we have more bankruptcy coming? Do we have more funds missing, more people going bankrupt? That's it. I mean, it's possible. For now, we didn't move down much on such fear. In fact, since FTX did collapse, I would say we almost did not go down. I mean, we did made a 20% move down on the week it happened, but compared to the low we made in June, we are like 5% below. And compared to the drawdown we had since November last year, that was 74% down. 76. I mean, it's almost nothing, you know. So we can maybe bet something somebody is buying here, the fear. Who is that? What is their target? Are they going to succeed to reverse this or not? It's a question. But, yeah, I think it's not the time to be too much fearful anymore. That said, coming now on the weekly chart, yeah. For me, we have pretty nice range after all here. This building, that's what we want to see. Pretty nice range and with nice volume as well. I can see how, yeah, volume is, the high of the volume is nearly, well, very comparable to the volume we had on so much time here. And a very little, a lot less time here spent to make that much volume, suggesting absorption as well. And that is on the aggregated spot chart. I'd say this is still our main resistance locally. I'll say you can have, I mean, you can use different level, but overall, I can say that, yeah, 19k is a POC here. Unless it is reclaimed or until it is, but it's sensible to not be too much exposed for the upside and be protected and maybe plan for potential capitulation or low level at least. But yeah, if this gets reclaimed, then your next resistance, I think, is easily gonna be 30k or about. I mean, you still have resistance here, but at that point, that will be a pretty nice sign of strength should this get reclaimed. It can happen anytime. Maybe here on the move we might be starting, or maybe we made a low and it happened later, or we keep ranging for a few months or it never happened. But that's definitely the level I'm watching, and I guess most of the sensible people that are looking at the market are watching as well. And there will be a pretty good consensus, in my opinion, that things are strong if this gets reclaimed. That said, in the meantime, now we have two nice weekly level here, I guess, that I'm watching. One already tested here, one that has not been tested yet. We could add here the 50% of that week at 17,730. And so yeah, we'll see which side breaks first. Now I have another chart a bit more messy, or a bit more data on it. We'll start with that. That here for the bias, and after maybe we talk about the higher time frame count. Come back on the higher time frame. What I have here locally, well, starting from the low, for that range, let's say. On this rise, I see, well, there's three possibilities here. So you can have a 1, 2, 3 little wave 3, 4 and a 5th. So and that you have in that case either 1 or wave A here coming from the low, and suggest, so if this is 5 waves up, this high should breach before this low. But there's so much overlapping here that we can pretty much, we cannot fit everything, but we can fit with as much confidence an impulse or corrective, maybe even more corrective count. But corrective would be probably an ABC as a W, some kind of corrective here, and an ABC, so WXY. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's overlapping. Oh no, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an A. B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. So we can have corrective as well. One where we have a bit more confidence is that move down. But it's pretty clearly 5 waves down. So that's in theory a good thing to have a clear count, because it tells us that if we have 5s down, it cannot be a complete corrective move by itself, and it should be followed by another impulse move. Okay, 4 words would be enough. And why this is a path that is suggested. Same way we have 5 waves up here, so I'm looking for, at the moment, for a corrective move up here. What is the target? Well, the first target is a 1-1 extension, just slightly above the high here, an SFP of that high. That will be the first conservative target. I think I have good hope that we could squeeze pretty much higher here to this for the block, the high of our range here, in fact. So 17,500. We have our golden pocket. We have June low at the same place. I have been very relevant for the market, even with deviation here. So yeah, that's an interesting area to look for short, in my opinion, especially as we have 5 down. In that case, if we complete corrective moves, then we'll see on the next move down that would be confirmed only as we bridge this low. Where does this take us? Is this gonna be corrective and make a higher low here, or are we going to continue down? And that's pretty much my bias here. I am still looking for higher locally, and I'm still looking at this low to bridge before this high. That's the bias I'm taking. Now, saying this, even with 5 waves down, it doesn't really mean that it's impossible that we bridge that high before we bridge that low. How is that possible? Well, that's where Elliott Wave is. Even if it's helpful, there is always a complex way to turn things upside down. And that fact here, we could have a corrective flat that finished here, meaning this could be a wave A, corrective flat as a B, and we could be starting wave C that's gonna bridge that high. Still be in a corrective move overall, or 1-2 more impulse. In order to say we could in fact continue to squeeze up, maybe. It's not impossible. That's why I've been lowering long here and pleading for. And I mean, yeah, we are in a range as well, so we have our value area here low, high. Things are really tight here, not giving a lot of short-term opportunity, but being long here, taking conservative profit here, here, maybe higher, it's sensible. And looking for short here is sensible, in my opinion. In confluence with lower time frame count, probably to get a bit more confidence and precision, of course. But yeah. So preferred target is 17,600 to 600. We have a naked POC of interest, so 17,800. With untested 50% level here, which is untested weekly throw uptrust here, the weekly wick. I will not be surprised to see price start a bit higher. In fact, I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised of anything, but to see either a very quick move rejection or maybe start here and, you know, build a nice bull trap at the high before reversing. I am expecting a reversal here for now. That said, I will still keep a bit of my long open in case I'm wrong and continue. But here I will be edging at least. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this time frame. So really nothing changed, right? Since my last public live stream, I think we were it was somewhere in December. Oh, I did not make a public live stream, but I made a chart. We went a bit lower than expected at first, but yeah. Doom. Yeah, we have a bit of people today. So, let me come back on a clear chart here. Oh yeah, we have also that weekly level here. That's also why we'll be watching and taking profit. On the lower time frame, I'm not really seeing accounts completing just here at 17,000. I'm not really seeing it. Gonna flip on the lower time frame in a minute. But I know it's important resistance. And especially if we get an SFP, it could be a double or three SFP here to finish the count maybe. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna add some short at that point. And then at least unloading some long, but yeah, I feel we could go here. And so to recap, we have a low here. I don't know if this is a complete corrective or if it is the first leg that we need another impulse, at which point we'll see if it is a wave 3 or wave C. This could be a complete one already. And the bias is to have another impulse down here first to complete that. And the same way here. We'll see, do we find a higher low or do we go for another breakdown? Other interest of buying is just as simply a deviation of the low, you know. Should that happen, it's still a pretty good buy opportunity probably. Depending a bit of the context, you know, you don't have to try to nav catch any breach of each low, but at that point, we have a range establishing. So if the low breach and it get recovered, the best things to do is to bet off continuing the range, at least. That said, anytime we can have a breakdown, should we go for a full capitulation and go for those 10K or even lower, at some point we all have a breakdown and acceleration now, so you don't have to knife catch with everything you have on every breakout, but more often than not, breakout and be fake breaks and anything else, or rather fake breaks. So yeah, that's the stand. Check a bit the comment before I go on the lower time frame. And after I will come back. I prefer to start with this time frame here because that's what interests the most. Short-term plan, and that's where I really do my what trigger my trades, right? This time frame, the forward or the lower. The plan on the high time frame is just more plan. So, name unknown. Did you look at Ethereum already? Just got here. No, I did not. Maybe I will take a look at Ethereum. Welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Salut Jess, good to see you. If you remember a couple of months ago, you checked my ape short. I ended up making insane trades there. Check for fun. Okay, I will take a look at ape. I don't remember what I said about ape, but good if you made good money on it. Happy for you. Oh yeah, that was your plan, not mine. And for sure, the one that went short last year are the one that made the most money. And clearly, I had made some money on longs, but I made most of what I made have been on the short side. So now a bit lower time frame here. So we have a 5 waves down from the top of December, 14 December. And the first rise was clearly 5 waves to me, so that's why I was looking for higher low and continuation corrective. Now we went still significantly lower, but we had a naked POC here where it's resting beads as well. The idea, is to complete 5 waves from this low, especially with how high we went here and with the overlapping structure here. It's pretty much confirmed that this is a complete corrective move. And if we have a corrective move down, made a higher low and 5s up, we need to complete 5s now. How do you complete 5 from the low? With what we have right now, I cannot complete 5 waves already with this high here. That's why I'm still looking for higher. And the only count I'm reading right now is what you are seeing here. It's just a succession of extension here, which means we could see quite acceleration at some point. Can I? No. This is on the side a bit here. And yeah, here we go. And why is that? Well, because we have overlapping. We have a first impulse move here, clearly. The move up, we change our market structure. We have a correction here. A high and a low establishing a new trend. And then we have another swing high, making another high. Going into a correction that overlap the previous high. So we cannot have, for example, a 1, 2, 3, 4, because there is overlapping, unless it is a diagonal, but here there is no valid diagonal. I'm seeing this. Okay, I'm seeing an alternative now. But anyway, clear 5 waves. So a subwave 1, wave 1, wave 2, a subwave 1, correction, subwave 2. Again, 5 waves up pretty clearly in the 5 minutes or 30 minutes. So again, a subwave 1, and another corrective. Most likely bottom is in here. So subwave 2, this count will get invalidated if we take that low. So I have some stop loss below this. Maybe not all my position that I put here, but at least I am a bit above break even here. And I load quite some long on that. So we spent so much time. And we went pretty close to my invalidation, so really low on that. But yeah, invalidation here. Now I'm saying this, as always, this is one time frame count. The main one that I'm reading here. That doesn't mean it's right, and that doesn't mean if it is wrong that this one is wrong. Maybe there is something else here that I'm not reading correctly, so that's why I will still keep my main invalidation below that low here. So that long position. Let's say we're getting pretty close to one of my main take profit here. Hopefully we'll get it. And that said, well, we already have 3 extension here, 3 wave 1 of lesser degree. So at some point we should see acceleration up. Move are pretty strong already. But if this count is correct, we should see acceleration here, in my opinion. Our standard target for wave 3 should be 161.8. So it's in theory 17,300 here should be a good target for wave 3 of that degree. 1, 2, 3. That's the standard target. I'm not gonna focus too much on a standard target of the wave 3 here, especially as we got up in degree. Because overall we are in a corrective count, and I would just want to see a strong move that can give me confidence that it is a wave 3 of some degree. That strong move with 5 waves again, more shallow correction, and here reaching overbought territory in maybe 1 hour, 4 hour RSI. Bearish divergence starting to build, volume coming into that move but starting to decrease a bit. At that point I will adjust the count, and confidence will still be a few possibilities as we come up to the 5th wave here. If this count complete fully, we'll still have a slight uncertainty of which degree we completed. At least I will follow that, and I will start to build into short as I start to feel we are nearing completion and reaching the level overall that I'm watching. Sam, French Bull, how do you manage counts on different charts? And Coinbase, we didn't get the wave 1 overlap, which we had on Bybit. How do you decide which one is most relevant? Yeah, true. This week is not really relevant. I didn't really notice we didn't have overlap on spot. We do have overlap on spot. Not on Coinbase? Yeah, we do. For that at least, right? When here we have overlap here. So there is not much difference for me. Now, if there is a big difference in price like there is here on Bybit, I will just ignore the week if it doesn't, if I cannot fit it in the count. It's not a big deal, especially if it is on derivative like this, or if it is on just one spot exchange, like just on Kraken or just on Bitstamp. You know, it doesn't have to be part of the count. Just illiquidity. Now here, you see the count doesn't make sense as a impulse on Bybit, but if I take the spot, then we have a more clear count, I believe. Yeah, we have a leading diagonal here. You can see this overlapping here, tightening. So leading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is clear. On Bybit, it will be incorrect. So I'm ignoring this a bit, and also that's why I'm not really looking at the extension when we have so much discrepancy. You know, I'm not gonna take this wave 1 size to project my standard wave 3 here. It would not make sense because it would be very different depending on the exchange. So that's the main difference. I will not use the fib extension tool on the one that it is different. Now I'm doing count on different charts. You know, I flip. Also sometimes problem with Elliott Wave, or always so much different scenarios to make in mind. So sometimes, yeah, I change the chart, depending on which pair I'm trading as well. But I chart mostly Bybit because that's where I trade derivatives the most still. And I chart my homemade aggregated spot chart, especially for volume and for Wyckoff view. While I trade more and more on Kraken, but I'm not necessarily charting on Kraken here. But as anyway, when I'm entering a trade, usually I do it on market. And I'm looking at the chart, so it doesn't really matter to me. Okay, so next, what do we have? Well, let's take a look at the high time frame count, inter frame, mid time frame. Okay, I already talked about it also in a private live this week. We can do a quick recap nonetheless of the very high time frame count that I'm reading for now. So we still have this count here. It is not invalidated. Okay, that's the one that say we made our first impulse here from beginning to 2013. MTGOX crash was the first microwave 2, 2018 being the main wave 3, wave 4 here, and this could still be wave 4 of lesser degree of the higher degree wave 5 here. That has been my main count for quite some time. Especially here as we went below, but already as we truly lost 30k after we lost that SFP here. That's first, you know, so in June, when we continue the breakdown here, that count lost a bit of confidence to me. let's say this is still valid. We are still at a 50% retrace, right? Still at the 50% retrace on a log scale of proposed wave 3. We did not overlap wave 1, so we did not invalidate that. And we can still fit a corrective count into this or into all of this. And in terms of time, even this, depending if we look at a flat here, with a very big wave C, or if we are looking at wave 3 top here and here maybe an ABC. In terms of time, it's still good compared to the rest of the wave of that degree. For example, here, if I'm taking proposed wave 3 time, we made the low at the 0.618, so it took 61.8% the time of proposed wave 3 here to retrace to here. So in theory, this is still a valid count. I am not extremely confident about it, because even if we are oversold and etc., and I'm expecting some kind of upside or ranging here for the coming months, we also don't have a bottoming sign on several key data, like grayscale, discount, or Silvergate. So I would like to be more bullish here. We have maybe 75% of the data we want to see to claim a full bottom formation and process here, even here. But in the 25% that is missing, they are pretty important, in my opinion. And yeah, so not invalid, but losing confidence here. Ending diagonals, that's a possibility. Not higher confidence, because that will mean we go for higher high again. For a new all-time high, which doesn't feel likely right now. But the idea is the same, that will be in a macro F5, just going for an ending diagonal. The idea is pretty nice because it means that Bitcoin will finally lose a bit of volatility, and that's what we want to see if for an asset that is maturing and completing potentially a macro 5 wave, so becoming a more serious asset. This one I'm not really want to talk about that. The lot more bearish count that we completed the 5 waves up, and that we are going into a lot deeper bear market, and that could just be the start, the first leg of a lot deeper, longer bear market here. And at best, if we completed that, well, in my opinion, we need at minimum correction down to 1,700 here, which means reaching 2018 low. It's not very encouraging for the future, and that could mean that we don't go for subwave 2. That could mean that it's gonna eventually fail, right, and more or less disappear. And Bitcoin could fail, it could be banned in Europe, in the US, or anywhere. Anyway, that's a bit the doom chart here. And in terms of time, that's also should be the minimum. It's June 2024 for bottom, but potentially a lot longer. 2030 here. Because if we are correcting all of that, well, we are correcting all of that, so we need comparable time, which could mean 10 years. And I'm saying dying, it doesn't have to go to zero. It could also mean that we will never reach higher level, and maybe we'll stabilize, find a value somewhere. Maybe 10k could be a good value, between 1k and 10k. It could keep could find a value somewhere in between where it has been already, but not going higher. That's assuming that the dollar remains. Because for now, I'm just charting on the dollar. But maybe that will be senseless if the dollar disappear or just completely change over the years. And one of the count that I found most interesting here is the idea that we are in microwave 4 still. So main change is wave 1 completed here in 2011, and that's the 3 bull market that we had here in 2013, 17, and 21 would have been just wave 3, and we would be in wave 4. That would allow an in-between, being really bullish and really bearish. It would mean we can find balance into that range between 30k and 30k. And find a bottom somewhere here, maybe. We have a pretty compelling count here, potentially finishing wave A and coming down lower a bit later in 2024. That also means that maybe we would not see a bull market start before the halving, or maybe we'll find a bottom after the halving. That would be a first, but that could be the tricky part. If Bitcoin fall during the halving and find new lows, that would be a first, and that could affect some people, and maybe it find a bottom then and go then. And I find it kind of interesting. With a balance value here around 6k, 23 retrace of proposed wave 3, monthly level, and the anchor VWAP here that we have from the low. Okay, I wanted to do that quick, so here we go. I hope you had time to screenshot that. I should maybe post them on Twitter, so I have some content on Twitter. Anyway, let's say that's not gonna trigger much trade, this chart here, because that's just saying we can do whatever, What's gonna trigger the trade, especially the derivative one, is the lower time frame counts. Now on this here, important is trying to count from that high, because whatever is the higher degree, we want to complete either a corrective move or 5 waves. Whichever it is, after a complete wave, we should see a bounce, a reversal or a bounce. In that occurrence, yeah, we could be in the 5th wave. That's one of the main count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 being here or here. Yeah, we also have that's a count that will say potentially things are finished. It's nice because the target are reached nicely here. We have ABCs that reach the 1-1 extension pretty nicely on log. So that's why I'm keeping that count, even if I'm not really a fan of such big and trending WXYXZ count. That's a complex corrective count. Usually, yeah, Not a fan of that on a higher time frame and then trending move. Nonetheless, yeah, target are reached pretty nicely, so that's why it is here. Bearish counts 1, 2, 3, 4. We're still in the fifth. Fifth target can be wide. You know, standard target is 1 extension here. It will be 11, 12k. 160.18 is a potential target for a fifth. It's 160.18 extension of wave 1 projected from wave 4, and that brings us to 7k. All that to say that this count allow pretty much any target here. In that occurrence, we need to count from that swing high here, from the one from August. That's indeed what's going to be the most important, and which is the most complex right now. The alternative here, A, B, C, completed, or 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's an alternative, just in case we keep ranging somewhere in here and keep going for lower low. But you know my bias, if we reclaim this, I believe we go there. So just keeping potential count in mind. That said, yeah, the most complex part remains to count from that obvious high here. How do you count this? Usually you try to read your impulse and you count from that, right? But we have an impulse here, an impulse here. This madness is a bit complex, but I went for this being one. So an impulse completed here, a flat here because we have an impulse move here. So I'm suggesting this as a correction. This as a corrective is good. So yeah, main bias is to say we have a really complex corrective move like this, a flat. Yeah, a very crappy one. Not crappy, but yeah, complex to read, to say the least. Let's say, what can we have from that? Well, we can have, so impulse. Here, suggestion is then A, B, C as the wave 1 here. A, B, C as a wave 1 of a diagonal. This rise as a subwave 2. Could be that we go, if we go higher here, you know, we can adjust that and make a wave 2 higher. You know, if we retest 19k, we don't claim it, we just make it a bigger one. That's a proposition, but ending diagonal, we can build it differently as well here. But yeah, now it doesn't really work because we are claiming that trendline resistance. Yeah. That said, we want to see the contraction, the price action contract to really give more credit to that diagonal count. For now, it's still early. It's just a suggestion of projection here to say that, yeah, we can keep ranging, we can keep there. If at some point we really see price tightening into a wedge, well, we can come back on the diagonal here. It's very potential place, a very good potential, yeah, place to build a diagonal here. And overlapping is such complex here that it is a good account to have, but too early to be confident on the definitive shape it's gonna take. The most obvious count here will be the bearish one. I will say we have a 1 here, potentially a 2 here, and a sub 1, and a sub 2, and a sub 1, and a sub 2. The same way here, if we go for something like this, we can just move this 2 here. But yeah, that's what's possible. Suggestion of 1-2-1-2, which will lead to at some point acceleration, capitulation, and much lower level. But for now, as we're still seeing overlap and we don't have a complete a structure that suggests a diagonal yet, that's all we can get. Alternatively, if this is a correction like this, we can put this wave 2 here and take one less extension here. Unless having 1-2 and a sub 1-2, we take a 1-2 and a sub 1-2. 2-2, that's okay. Truncated 4, well, not really want to. The idea of a truncated 4 is that with these complex things, we might want to force it into some kind of corrective move from here to here. I'm not seeing a very valid count for that. But I mean, in the sense that we are in a range more or less sideways contraction. Isn't it sensible to look at this as potentially a wave 4 here, completed in that range, and this breakdown being the 5th, or the first one of the 5th? It would simplify this madness here. Simplify, but with a bit incorrect count. The idea would be to have WXY here, but truncated Y, so yeah. And flat count. So that's the count that will allow us to retest our 30k here. Should we reclaim this 19k? I will still consider this valid. So A, B, C here down, this remains a low, and maybe we are in a 1-2, and we are going to see acceleration to 30k. And make all of this a big flat, still looking for lower. In the sense that it will make all of this wave A here, this the flat wave B, and then the wave C down to here. That's the count that I had for a big macro wave 4, for example. Some that already name and know. From my experience, you want to charge the same exchange you trade on. So for example, yeah, that's true. And now, that said, when you do Elliott Wave, if you trade on an exchange that have lower liquidity, no, in that sense, you want to trade to charge the exchange you trade on, but you might want to chart also the most relevant exchange of the pair you trade. As a mainly Bitcoin trader, I'm gonna look at a lot of different Bitcoin charts, and I also make an aggregated spot chart or item frame. You look at BLX, or you can use TradingView index, but data is wrong for the last part, so you have to be aware of that. They are not really in a hurry to fix any of that. But yeah, otherwise you want to maybe look at the one with the higher volume or the most reliable volume, because the highest volume would be Binance, but Binance, you know, there is with pretty high confidence, or not confidence, but with pretty high probability there is wash trading here, since they flipped to zero fee trading. And anyway, on offshore trading like this, you can it's not stupid to believe there is wash trading and the volume is not really accurate and it's manipulated. So looking at something like Coinbase might be a good idea, or Bitstamp, or even Bitfinex. Bitfinex is pretty interesting, in fact, because it is a lot lower volume than the most of the exchange, but it is not so much suspected of wash trading, and the volume is probably right, you know. I mean, there is some time where there's almost no volume. So if there is almost no volume, sometimes that means they are not faking volume, you know. And when there is volume, it's probably true volume. At the same time, for example, Kraken, if you don't think it's the same that before. It's Bitstamp, maybe what? Sometimes you have a lot lower liquidity, which make price action a lot different. Anyway, that's why I made an aggregated one. Which one I use already? But yeah, I use Bitstamp, Bitfinex, Bitstamp, Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, and Qcoin. Yeah, I have Qcoin on it. Hello, Jay. Cool, this on the 5-minute chart, a potential flat or expanded flat for 17,100. 5 minutes. You see there's lack of liquidity on this chart. And the 5-minute look like this. A flat, how... in fact, I was looking at a flat here, personally. For potential expanded flat. For 17,100, that's a higher high. How's not sure I'm reading that correctly. For me, the 17,100 will be this. That will be just a zigzag because we have 5 up, most likely 5 ups. We have a higher low and a higher high in that case. Should this have been... that could be a flat on the Euro chart. Maybe, because we made a lower low here. And a higher high. So that could be an expanded flat already. In fact, we have a count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. But on the 5 minutes, I don't see. Not sure what you're saying. 15. And could that be A, B, C? Oh, or flat like this. Or like this. That's really forcing in some price action we don't have yet. I don't know if we're gonna claim that. What happened here? Short squeeze, long getting trapped. At the same time, yeah, we are long getting trapped again. Yeah, I don't know. I prefer to see this continue to squeeze up, but this is a 5 minute. For me, the flat I was saying is here, and this as an A, B, C of some kind, yeah. So complete corrective, and this has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me check if the second wave up is... Okay, smaller than the first. Might be in the process of leading diagonal here. Contracting price action. If we can reach that high here, maybe a leading diagonal in process, and we are getting aggressive buys, so something happened here. So to have aggressive buy pushing into a new trend like this, but still diminishing volume from the first move up, that will be a good candidate for leading diagonal. Contracting volume, FOMO pressure up, but reducing, so forming a contracting price action. That's what I would like to see here. And so yeah, the problem is, how do you complete a count at 17,100? Should this be an A, B, C completing here? I don't know, yeah. It doesn't really matter at that point. Try to count too much. I mean, below 1 hour here, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, the count that I'm seeing is that one. I'm not really seeing another one now. Should it be wrong? Well, it is wrong, and I focus on the higher time frame, and on the higher time frame, well, I would prefer us to take that high to complete an ABC, because otherwise we have a truncated C here. But I mean, if we do this and we reject and reverse, well, I will assume we have an ABC completed. I don't know what was the count here, but that doesn't really matter to me at that point. For now, at least. Maybe I will find an ID or count that fits. But I will gladly take a short here should it present itself. I would not be surprised to have an SFP that follows another, you know, get trappy. We are entering in the weekend. We have I think it's time to go for the high right now. GXY is attempting a reversal, so a bit of bearish price action today. Yeah, quite bearish, okay. I mean, for now, it also have a potential leading here, potential reversal, market structure change, come out as, you know, not oversold, but curling RSI with a bull div at the low on the daily time frame. Key level, we have a potential completed count here. Quite overextended already for a corrective count. Should we go for a higher high? But even for the bearish count, we can expect still corrective up, I think. I mean, we have overlapping here, suggesting a acceleration here. We have a gap here, liquidity gap that remain pretty much untested a bit. And we have overlapping here after the acceleration, so we can expect this to be the end of something, either wave 3 or wave C maybe. If it is a wave C, we are in higher degree wave 4 and we can go for a higher high. if it is a wave 3, we can still look for corrective move up or sideways, but for a bit of time compared to the time it took for wave 2 or wave 3. Yeah, sure, that can't be correct, but it seems to be to me. And yeah, we have a good potential for that. This drawdown is a bit deeper and stronger than what I would have expected. Let me check if leading diag is correct. Yes, it is. So let's say we still have a valid leading diagonal here, potentially, or ABC. That can be the corrective. And we can make this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in the context, well, as long as the low hold, can still look at this as a new trend, either wave 1 or wave A. 1, 2, and go. Euro USD was also quite, I mean, had the confluence for that. Same way, either A, B, C count up, either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, diagonal here, not diagonal, standard one. We had mid time frame reversal. We have overbought condition as well. We had a monthly order block resistance, previous low, it's an obvious resistance. So we'll see what occurred here. We can, you know, maybe we reach a high again. We range here. We form a reversal range here, or maybe we continue. I cannot know for sure, but my bias is for reversal here on Euro, so on the XY as well, which mean probably down for the rest, right? If the XY reverse. I didn't really look at S&P, but S&P, yeah. I mean, it reversed, it made it high already. Nasdaq is a lot weaker already. Obviously, Tesla is down. Meta is down, everything's down. DGI made also SFP was high. Retest of the monthly breaker of the block here and rejected on an SFP. Gold is still up, not really giving us any retrace to position more on that. Pretty confident about gold. Home builders. Still hovering around the 200 EMA, daily EMA. So there is that. So it's not completely falling apart yet. I guess we can wait to see which side break here. French stock for some reason are still up. European the same than French, Dutch as well. UK is going for a new all-time high. Not so far. China is recovering from its deviation here. Yeah. Yeah, that's my bet. Ethereum, what is Ethereum doing? Because I've been asking, I didn't look at it. And after that, I guess it's gonna be all for today. Still looking for a fifth here. This for fifth. The ID is pretty much the same on that time frame, in the sense that I'm reading 5 waves down, so I would want to read a corrective move down from here, and to look for a lower high here and a breach of that low at that, and then we'll see, do we go for a higher low or lower low? But pretty much the same thing that Bitcoin on that time frame. On the daily chart, it's another story. I have no... I'm hesitant on what to do with Ethereum. It's true that it's still on a higher low than June. And anyway, I think it has time, even if it's gonna hold a higher low. For me, that would be the most obvious count, WXY, and that would be an A, B, C still in process. So, I mean, A, B, C here, A, B, C here, and A, B, C to complete the Y. You see the process. I mean, that means that we can... I think it can follow Bitcoin here still. And if it holds a higher low, and if it is bullish, that would be good for Bitcoin. Bigger picture, you know, we can have a completed corrective count here. It can be a lot more bearish, with this being corrective and this being a leading diag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expanding. It still means that we can keep ranging for a month here before continuing down. On a market, it's stable, so I would bet on stabilization. And really similar on the 4-hour chart between Bitcoin and Ethereum, so I would not expect much difference. Okay, I've been live for almost 1 hour and a half. I think I covered most. What is Magic Spread doing? Not so much. The volume is not crazy on Bitfinex. It's green, encouraging, but open interest is down, so suggesting take profit so far. Market is holding it, so fairly neutral. Yeah, count I've been recapped. And Wyckoff, well, there is not so much to say on the Wyckoff side. I mean, we have a range here, so just bet on the range for now. Should that be a reaccumulation or redistribution, that that's not obvious yet. There is just contraction in volume here. A lot of absorption here, so for now need to see, do we see a big volume coming at the low in a recovery, or a big volume coming at the high in a loss? That could bring a bit more confidence about distribution, or accumulation, but that can last for quite a few weeks, months is still. So I'm not really in a rush of doing any Wyckoff on that. Just know where are your edge. And that's what we did, right? Did long here, did short here. What can we do like more? I mean, that short have been planned, I mean, since here. It was a forward block from here. I'm just looking to short again higher. There is clearly a resistance at 17k. If it breaks, can see a squeeze up. And if we can break a lower low, we can short again for inside play. Take profit as we breach low. And see if we reposition here or wait a bit or try both. And see if we fall apart or keep ranging. But yeah, that will be all for today. So thanks again everybody for watching, joining, for your participation. Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but you know, yeah, there was some news. I didn't talk about Silvergate much. Well, because I'm not sure how I feel about it. But you know, that's $15-14 equal to 9k level on Bitcoin, and we lost it on a bearish gap here. Pretty early, a 40% gap yesterday. And very high volume here. So that feel like, I don't know, like capitulation maybe. Could be an exhaustion gap, what we see at the end of a trend. That will be good, but at the same time, it's possible that Silvergate is in trouble, and if you are not aware of, Silvergate is being used by like most, if not all, the crypto industry, not necessarily as the only or main bank for every exchange or even miner or whatever, but it is used at least, especially for dollar transfer between entities. You can have instant dollar withdrawal, bank withdrawal between exchanges, thanks to Silvergate and their stuff. So anyway, that's something to watch out. It's not because Silvergate, Silvergate could have trouble because of what happened with FTX, but in part, and they are also the one that have made loan collateralized with Bitcoin to Sailor, MicroStrategy. They had exposure to BlockFi, to almost everything. UB as well, I think. So they might be in lack of cash because there is so much of a bank run in such a short term that any bank will have trouble to honor the dollar withdrawal in such a short term, because I have to sell assets to honor this. And that's the result so far. We can only hope they hold, because if they go bankrupt, that would probably be pretty bad for the whole crypto industry. Now, that doesn't mean the end of the crypto industry, but that's a pretty important fiat off and on ramp. So yeah, it would be better if they hold. And that last price action is worrying. Now, if it holds here down and build a little range here and recover, it can be fine. It can still be a corrective move here in some sort. We're reaching the 161.8 level. So yeah, something to watch out. And And the anti-GOG stuff, the 100,000 Bitcoin that should be sent back to creditors, are delayed again to September. So at least that supply that's not yet ready to reach market. You're welcome. Thank you. What do you think about from Wyckoff perspective and BTC and this range? Yeah, I will come back on that next week. We'll do a proper chat, but yeah, well, you can say you have your preliminary support, saying climax, automatic reaction, secondary test of the high. Do we go for secondary test in phase B that can be a higher low or lower low? That where we would be, but the phase B in that occurrence start here, and that should be the longest part of the range. So yeah, just play the range for now. There is a high here, there is a low here. That's pretty much it. But volume is not enough in here to suggest distribution or accumulation. So yes, thanks again, everybody. Have a nice evening, nice weekend. Take care and see you soon. Bye.